Hey, what's up guys? This is the Palmetto State Armory Jackal, and today I'm going to be talking about what I like and don't like about this weapon. But first, let's roll some out of context B-roll that adds absolutely zero substance to this video. Before we get started, PSA did send me this gun to review, but I will give you my honest review and what I actually do and don't like about this gun. And before we get into my preferences, let's go through the product details that PSA lists on their website. Long stroke gas piston operating system, 8620 front trunnion, I don't know, 4340 carrier, 7 lug shot peened Carpenter 158 bolt, monolithic receiver, hard coat anodized, 13.7 inch 5.56 NATO nitride 4150 V chrome moly steel barrel, JMac Customs GFHCE-28-S-KM muzzle device, pin and welded. That's a mouthful. F5 MFG modular stock system, Magpul, MOE, SL grip. Yeah, there's no way I was gonna remember that, so I figured why not just read it. But overall, this gun feels very solid. I will say that with the exception of the buttstock, we'll get to that in a second. But the gun, when you pick it up, it feels bomb-proof. I mean, it feels like you can do pull-ups on it. The piston, whatever, long stroke piston system or whatever it's called, when you take that apart, it's extremely robust. It almost looks like a car part. They really went all out on making sure this thing was very solid. Again, the only exception to that is this flimsy buttstock. You can see in the camera, I'm actually twisting that and not using that much force. It almost has the rigidity of like a pistol brace. I haven't really noticed an issue with that in training with it, but I would like something a little bit more solid. Collapses to there, and you just push these two buttons on the side and extend it out. It also has an extendable cheek weld. The thing about this too that's kind of a problem is all that is required to collapse it is to push it back. I could see that getting pushed out of place and out of position, and so it may be better just to run it flat, but that's a small critique, and it's just the buttstock, which is easy to replace. The buttstock also folds, so you push this lever here and it folds in place, collapses up. It's not quite small enough right now for backpack carry.
It's called backpack power, baby.
But it definitely takes off quite a bit of length from the rifle. The thing I don't like about how it folds is it is, once again, sort of flimsy. It doesn't lock into place, and it sort of floats here, and it is easy to extend, but it would be nice if that was, oh, pushing the wrong button here. It would be nice if that folded up a little bit more solidly, whatever. But yeah, so overall, that's one of my only critiques in terms of the lower itself, is the fact that this buttstock is just kind of flimsy. Moving forward a little bit, we have this forward charging handle, which honestly just feels cool. I don't know why, but racking this thing just feels awesome compared to a typical AR charging handle. It's also more ergonomic, so if you're behind the gun, you no longer have to bring your hand all the way back here or bring it out of the pocket of your shoulder to rack it. You can actually just rack it from right here. And once again, it just feels good, which we know that's really important. And then moving even further forward, we have the adjustable gas block. Since it's a piston gun, you don't have the gas flowing all the way back, which means it's a lot cleaner, so you don't get all of that gas blowback you get with an AR, but you do have to tune this a little bit. I can't remember how many settings, I'll put them here on the screen somewhere, but there are a certain number of settings that you're supposed to be able to adjust and tune it to whatever type of ammo you're shooting, and then also if you're running some sort of a can and just shooting it unsuppressed, I have to run it all the way open. So I would like a little bit more tunability, because if the gun gets dirty, I would think that you need to open it even further to allow more gas to cycle the action. I haven't shot it suppressed, but I guess if you did shoot it suppressed, you would have a little bit more freedom to adjust that gas flow. Moving even further forward, we have this muzzle device, and I can't even remember the acronym, but I'll put it on the screen here somewhere. This thing does a pretty good job of helping it shoot flat, although it throws out some pretty serious fireballs. The first time I noticed this, it felt like there was a basketball size fireball in front of my face. From a practicality standpoint and wanting to hide your muzzle signature, if you're in a combat situation, that's not optimal. So you'd probably want to run a suppressor on that muzzle device. I'm not really going to talk about accuracy because most modern weapons hold at least a mil-spec level of accuracy, and most shooters are not going to outshoot that. I mean, this is not a precision rifle, so it's not precision level accuracy, but it does what it's meant to do, and that is be a combat rifle, although you'll say this is not a combat rifle because it's not fully automatic, but I have another video where I discuss that. Ultimately, though, this is a rifle that would fill that role. It holds that level of accuracy and would be good on man-sized targets at 300, 400, and maybe even 500 yards. Something you'll notice is that the lower receiver looks very similar to an AR receiver, and that's because it basically is. There are some differences between this and an AR lower receiver, but it comes apart like an AR for this part. This part up here does not come apart like an AR. You have to take the piston out, and that part is much different. But for the lower, it's very similar to an AR platform. What else? Color? Let me talk about the color. It's green. As you can see, the color is green. My videographer over there told me I need to talk about the color, so the color is green, if that's your thing. I was about to rack it like it's an AR. The next critique I have is about the weight of this gun. But it's not so much about the actual weight itself, it's about where that weight is on the gun. And for this gun, most of the weight is forward of the mag well. So when you're holding the gun, you feel a substantial amount of weight out here. It feels kind of like an AR with a light on it. So if you were gonna put a light on this gun, now you're adding even more forward weight, or if you're gonna put a laser aiming device and then a suppressor, you're talking about a ton of forward weight. This gun's still really cool. It's enjoyable to shoot. It shoots really flat. It's actually really well made. PSA, I love their stuff. I love their mission statement and how their goal is to get as many guns into as many law-abiding hands as possible. I think that is what the Second Amendment is for. Also, if you're more likely to train with this gun than you are an AR, if you're more likely to train with this gun than you are an AR type rifle, then I would say get it. Because if it's going to be the thing that determines whether or not you train, then my opinion is, yes, get it. Because we need more training. We don't need more guns, we need more training.
What did you say?
Oh gosh, that comment right there. That's gonna be the one. That's gonna be the one where the people, the Second Amendment absolutists in the comment section who think you should be able to own nuclear weapons are going to lose their mind. The fact that I said we don't need more guns, we need more training. Here we go. I just had a few people unsubscribe. But more training is always good. But we should also have more guns, just to be clear. Yeah, we should have more guns and more training. Unfortunately, most people would rather just have more guns and not more training, but...
Well, agree to disagree.
Another thing I noticed is that whenever that charging handle comes forward, it's hitting that upper receiver and it's causing a little bit of deformation on it. It doesn't seem to be the case that it's causing any cracking, but I don't think when you buy a gun that's over $1,000, you should have an issue like that. So I don't know if they need to open this channel up a little more, make it a little bit longer, but yeah, that's definitely causing some issues and may progress over time. The trigger is just a typical mil-spec trigger. It's not any sort of special upgraded trigger. So it's not two-stage or anything, it's just a regular single-stage trigger. If you're wondering what sights I have on here, these are the ScalarWorks backup sights. I know some people don't like to run backup sights, but I love these because batteries die, optics fail, and unless you don't have enough real estate because of the other things you have on your gun, I don't see a reason why not to have backup sights. So these are by ScalarWorks, and I really like them because instead of the typical flip up, flip down peep sights, you have ones that twist. So they're both on the same axis, which means you don't have a different axis per size. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, it's getting in the weeds, don't worry about it. But they're on the same axis. They also have these, which I don't have the ones on there right now, but they have some elevated ones so that if you do have an elevated optic, it will be able to do a lower 1/3 co-witness. So these right now are just looking through the whole of the mount itself. But when determining whether or not you should get this gun over an AR, if you're looking for some sort of a end of the world as we know it, combat style rifle, I would say that an AR is gonna be the way to go because it's just proven. There's no other gun that is as ergonomic as the AR and is as accurate as the AR. And I know someone's gonna comment with some really weird niche gun that I've never heard of and that no one else has heard of in the comment section. And they're gonna be like, yeah, that's the one. It's so much better than the AR and the AK and everything else, whatever. Okay, if that's what you want, then go for it. But ultimately, I think that the AR is just one of the best semi-automatic style rifles ever developed. If you were going to pick between that and this, I would pick that. However, if picking this is going to make you train more, if it's going to make you want to go to the range and shoot more and get better with the gun, then pick this all day. Training is what's important. It's not about the gear. It's not about the equipment. It's not about having $5,000 worth of gear and $50 worth of training. You want to have more invested in training than you do invested in gear. Unless you really just don't take the Second Amendment that seriously. And if that's the case, that's fine if you're more of a collector. But I'm talking about the purpose of the Second Amendment, which ultimately is for self-defense, self-preservation, and the suppression of tyranny. So, all that in mind, this is the Palmetto State Armory Jackal. I hope you enjoyed this review. Thank you so much for watching. And as always, train to a higher standard.